My name is Deanna Gaimel, and today we are going to be talking about what it means to be part of a fandom.
This is Nico Marquez, and his fandom is The Hunger Games.
Grace Kirk and Tolkien. Yay!
Why are you here?
I volunteered. It was kind of the luck of the draw. I was just looking through a bunch of books in my friend's room, and I'm just like, The Hunger Games, what's that? And I pulled it off the shelf and started reading it. And then about a couple hours later, I realized I finished the book.
I'm in 6th grade, and in my reading class, we did a section on fantasy. And obviously, we read The Hobbit. Not this edition, obviously.
Well, other than Jennifer Lawrence, The Hunger Games are just, I don't know, they're a fun book. Especially since it's kind of this whole different look on a future. I mean, a lot of future books go into either apocalypse or a super advanced society, so it was really interesting to see we had degraded ourselves so much that lives were no longer worth, I guess, what they are now.
There's just so much to learn, so much to figure out. You can read The Hobbit. You can read The Hobbit and be done with it. But even in The Hobbit, there are references to, the greater history of Middle-earth. There are references to, obviously, the ring. There's the dwarvish rings as well. There's Smaug and the dragons and how they came out of the north. And I feel like a failure of a fan because there's this much stuff. I know this much of it.
I have gone to a couple theme parties, which was really fun. My first party, I dressed up as President Snow, and then everyone decided they wanted to try to kill me.
I'm on Tumblr, and I like trolling through the LOTR tags.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. LOTR means Lord of the Rings, yes. There's always some really beautiful artwork.
As you can see behind me, there's the District 12 symbol, which is awesome, but there's a website online that's similar to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Pottermore, but there's a Pan website where you can become part of a district, and technically I'm District 8, so I make shirts and stuff and other things. Pretty much stalking the website for when the tickets are on sale, and for the premiere, I was so into going. I had a 10-page paper that I still had to finish the night of the opening, and I made my friends hold my laptop as I was typing my paper in line, which I ended up getting at 89, so maybe I should have paid a little bit more attention, but still, really, I was not going to put off the movie for this paper. I think it's the competition. That and having to explain yourself.
I've referenced Beren and Luthien, and obviously everyone knows who Beren and Luthien are, and then I'm oh right. No, they don't, actually. I had to write a necrastic poem for my poetry workshop, and no one got the reference at all.
Yeah. And then when it comes to who's the biggest fan, then it comes down to pulling out your phones and be like, okay, well, I have this poster. Okay, well, I have this CD. Or, oh, yeah, well, I have this soundtrack bonus track.
Fandoms are large, amorphous things, and there are always people within the fandom that are like, no, you're not a real fan. I'm a real fan. You're not. I'm like, what's the point of that?
Nothing worse than meeting a fan of Peeta or Finnick or some other character and then getting in a tussle about who's better and who's cooler and who would win in a fight and blah blah blah.
I'm a fan and I love this stuff, but know what I love more? I love having friends that love it too, that I can talk about this with. That face right there, though. That is another of the difficulties of being a fan of things. Especially if you're a fan of something, like Doctor Who, where you have Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat being like, hey, here's your heart. Ooh, let's take it and make it into origami.
What I think is unique is I feel like for being such a new craze, it's really hit a positive light. Like, I know some of the other crazes, like, I mean, Harry Potter fandom, I'm just going to do a shout out. Harry Potter fans, me included, but, go Slytherin, but, they're really, really connected with what they're interested in, and basically I feel like with this one, to see such a new upstart of the fandom get so connected real quickly and everyone's so interested in it, it's just, new experience. It makes it really fun, and there's not a lot of, hate about the Hunger Games. I mean, there's not really a lot to hate on, but, it's fun. And there's fun jokes between, especially the love triangle.
There's so much to fan out over. There's, you did the shot of, all of my books. Okay, so you've got Lord of the Rings, obviously. This is The Hobbit. Sorry. You have your 3 Lord of the Rings books, Tolkien. You've got the Silmarillion. And, it's exciting stuff. It's very dry. You could read this 10 different times and still be learning new things.
I think what makes me stay with any fandom is just, I think it's an effort on a lot of the administrators of the actual thing that I'm fanning over. I don't know if that's the proper verbiage for that, but I mean, J.K. Rowling, she went into Pottermore knowing that there was this huge fan base of people who always wished that they got that letter saying that they were a witch or a wizard. And then the Hunger Games people knew that we just loved Katniss, Jennifer Lawrence, and that we loved, this idea of Panem and the unity between the districts, and they continue that on, and I think that's really what sparks a cohesive fandom, is if there's that connection. A lot of, the Tolkien fans, there's so many things for them to do, and there's conventions. And
Tolkien wrote created 14 languages.
I mean, the Tolkien family still, releases, special things from, the different books that haven't been published every now and then. And, there's still, hope that there's something going to continue. And it's I feel like if they try too hard to end a series, they end their fandom with it. So everything must live on.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you. And you're not going to make me fight to the death now, are you?
Well,